And good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start by saying what an honor it is to be here this afternoon and to be a part of an event that helps so many families in need, families like mine. My name is Anthony Gallucci, and today I'm here to share with you my story and how a precious child has impacted my family's life. It's not easy to sum up all that a precious child means to me in a short speech, because honestly, they've done so much. But I'm certainly going to try. And I want to start with this. When I was faced with some of life's most difficult challenges, a precious child was there for me to lift me up. When I couldn't give my children the same or even similar opportunities that their friends had and their classmates, a precious child provided them for us. And they were able to receive a chance to play and compete with their colleagues. On days, most days, when I truly feel like a single dad struggling to provide for my 4 children with everything they need to feel whole, a precious child reached out, reminding me that I wasn't alone on this journey, that they were still by my side, and frankly, they are still by our side today. Because of a precious child, so many amazing things are happening in my children's lives. My oldest daughter, Kaya, is 16 years old, and she is going to be 17 in a couple of days. She is quite the student, excelling in school and work. Imani is 13, another daughter of mine, and she is such an incredible dancer. My youngest daughter, Anais, or Anais, is 6, and she absolutely loves animals. And then there's Elijah, their younger brother. Oh boy. He is 3, and he has a lot of energy, and he keeps us all on our toes. And we wouldn't have it any other way, honestly. The makeup of our family is admittedly unconventional. All 4 children share the same biological mother, but Kaya and Imani are the only 2 who are biologically mine. All 4 children are the reason why I wake up every day and strive to give them what I know they deserve in life, so that they can, but they will reach their fullest potential. To give you a sense of what led me to a precious child, I want to share a little bit about my past. I left my adoptive family's home in hopes of finding my birth parents, which led me to a life of living on the streets by the time I was 17 years old. I was struggling with my self-identity, and I didn't feel like I had a place in this world where I belonged. When I was first homeless, I started selling cannabis to make ends meet. And that's how I met my children's mother. We were in our early 20s when we had Kaya and Imani, and when I became a dad. My kids at that point became the most important thing to me, and they've remained that presence to this day. I stopped selling cannabis and found a full-time job along with an apartment for us to live in. Getting by was extremely tough, and I still had trouble making ends meet. Unfortunately, my marriage with their mom didn't work out. She struggled with overcoming her addiction to drugs, and our relationship unraveled and ultimately ended with a divorce. The girls stayed with me, and I became a single father in 2009, almost 11 years ago. Naturally, life got even harder, but I continued to focus on my children. I enrolled in college and got my first degree while working multiple jobs to provide for Kai and Imani. But even then, I felt like we were constantly struggling to get by, and that struggling life just wasn't the life I wanted for my children. You know, I wanted them to be able to thrive. So I remember a friend of my mother's saying that life was pretty amazing in Colorado. How they had great schools, safe communities, and clean water. Motivated by what was best for my family, I decided to move to Colorado. I asked my ex-wife, who at that time had a baby, Anais, from another relationship, and she was living in a shelter, to come with us. I wanted her and her baby to be safe and also to have a relationship with our biological children. When we arrived in Colorado, almost 6 years ago, we had nothing more than a Volvo 850, 1995 was the year of the vehicle, 2 garbage bags full of clothing, and an old laptop, which is now obsolete. My older daughters were 8 and 11 at the time, and Anais had just turned 1. Actually, the day we arrived in Colorado was her birthday. We were lucky because within a few days we were able to connect with a local organization that helped us, and they put our family into a family shelter. And then they referred us to a precious child. So that is how this incredible organization came into our lives, changing it for the better. I do remember the first time we went to a Precious Child Resource Center 5.5 years ago. There were 2 things that really stood out to me. The first was everything we were able to get at no cost. Clothing, hygiene items, diapers for Anais, baby gear for her, and new bedding for all of us. One of the most powerful things for me was being able to see Kai and Imani pick out clothes for their first day at their new schools. They had been wearing the same outfits every day for our journey across the country, and I kept thinking that I didn't want them to go to school feeling self-conscious. Thanks to the new clothes they were able to receive at a Precious Child, that was not the case. They were able to start at their new schools and meet all of their classmates, feeling confident, a bit tired, but excited. The second thing that really stood out to me when I first came to a Precious Child was the experience. As is reality, taking the first step to secure help is not always easy. You never know how you're going to be treated, and often there's a concern about being judged. But the moment we walked into a Precious Child, everyone who helped us, to this day actually, made my entire family feel extremely welcome and valid. We never felt that we were minimal or less than. They treated us with so much kindness, like we were family, not simply clients. Unfortunately, as is life at times, I then faced another difficult, unexpected circumstance, and a Precious Child continued to be by our side. After getting settled in Colorado, the girl's mother continued to struggle with overcoming her personal issues and drug abuse, frankly. We ended up parting ways, and she took my daughter Anais with her. Until one day, she ended up returning with Anais along with another child in her arms, Elijah. She told me she could no longer care for them and left them in my care. When I became Anais and Elijah's adopted father, I stayed home and took care of all 4 children because they really needed me, and to sustain finances, I became a substitute teacher part-time. A precious child stepped in once again to give us the support we needed for this unforeseen circumstance. They provided me with all the baby gear I needed for Elijah, again, like diapers, wipes, blankets, toys, a baby gate, and a stroller. Baby gates are a priority.
Yeah.
Sectioning them off at different times. But again, these resources were needed because I didn't expect to have an infant, and I wasn't expecting another baby. So all of those things aren't cheap, and together they quickly add up. And because of a precious child, I never had to choose between buying diapers for Elijah or paying the bills. I didn't have to choose between clothing for the girls or groceries for our family for the month. A precious child did not just give us everyday essentials, which would have been fine. They provided much more. They provided my children with opportunities that I couldn't afford to give them on my own. My daughter Imani really wanted to join the gymnastics team. After everything she'd endured early on in life, gymnastics would be and did become a good outlet for her, a way for her to be able to express her emotions, a form of therapy. But I was just making enough for housing and food as a substitute, and I didn't know how I was going to afford paying for gymnastics. During a visit to a Precious Child Resource Center, a staff member told me about their Give Sports program, which helps children participate in sports. I did participate as well as a dance dad, but we'll get to all she had to do was apply for a scholarship by writing an essay on why she wanted to participate in gymnastics. Imani wrote her essay, and a Precious Child stepped up by covering the majority of the expenses. Imani was able to join the team, and guess what? She ended up getting 6th in the state in her floor routine in gymnastics that year.
That's amazing.
At this time, I do have 2 of my 4 children here this afternoon. I'd like to invite Imani and Kaya to stand up for the next few moments. And if they have anything they would like to say, now is the time.
Thank you all for all of the support.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunities. It was very great to be able to see my sister go and do these awesome things and flip around and dance and everything she does. So thank you.
So again, following gymnastics this past year, Imani became interested in doing dance with some of her friends. And because of a Precious Child Give Arts program, Imani was able to make the switch from gymnastics to joining competitive dance. She absolutely loves being a part of dance teams, and she's amazing. Now I can say I am a proud dance dad.
Yeah. Nothing like being a dance dad.
I'm looking for that TV deal. We do need a dance dad show.
They should do one. They should do.
When I see, witness Imani dance, I'm often crying because I can see her happiness and confidence shining through. And I can see the confidence of generations of our family that weren't able to be where she is, also shining through. And as a father, that is the best feeling. It is. As for my oldest daughter, Kaya, a Precious Child has had a huge impact in her life. A few years ago, she was able to volunteer as an intern with a Precious Child. It felt so good for both of us to be able to give back to an organization that has given us and continues to give us so much. But even more exciting, her internship ended up leading to her first paying job, and she now works at for the Chamber of Commerce, which is pretty incredible considering she is 16 years old for a few more days and she is still in high school. Kaya is also on track. She will receive her business designation from the business classes she's been taking in high school, and she's looking forward to attending college locally, thankfully. And DU, Denver University, is her first choice.
Oh, yeah.
Not to diminish the other quality universities of Colorado. But
Good choice.
shout out to DU. I'm so proud, I am so proud to see how great all of my children are doing, and I'm proud of them. Now, with all 4 of my children finally enrolled in school, I have time to focus on furthering my education and career. Because of the support a Precious Child has provided to my family, I've been able to go back to school, and I have almost completed my Master's in Religious Studies degree.
Wow.
I even received a major scholarship that will help me complete school. 100% of my educational expenses are covered. I will be accepted into a PhD program, and when I graduate from that program, I will have degrees that will allow me to be a professor internationally, and mainly online. It will be a good, stable income, and it will allow me to spend time with my 4 children at home. When I think about how much our lives have improved over the past 5.5 to 6 years, I think about how through it all, even today, a Precious Child has been and will continue to be by our side. They empowered me to achieve more for my children. They gave my family stability when our foundation was at its weakest. They provided my children with opportunities, paving a brighter path for their futures and mine. If I had not walked into a Precious Child Resource Center 5.5 years ago, all of this wouldn't have been possible in this way. And it's because of people, not just every people, it's people like you, that a Precious Child can help, not just my family, and the families in the video, and the other testaments, but so many other families like mine that are or may be in the future in need of assistance. For that, I am genuinely grateful. Now, in closing, thank you for being here today, for supporting an amazing organization, and for listening to my family's story. I truly believe this is only the beginning for my family and I. And I want to say one more time, thank you for your time today, because time may be one of our most prized commodities. And many blessings to you and your families.